You're welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. The issue of welfare for 7 members of Nigeria's police force has for long been the major issue in national discourse. Coupled with that is how the authorities have come to handle the affairs of those who are retired after committing the best part of their lives to the service of their nation. These twin issues are usually linked to the state of security or the lack thereof in the country. And then comes the issue of training and capacity building for an institution which is constitutionally empowered to maintain law and order among the civilian population. How can the Nigerian police force be prepared to function optimally and begin to have a better relationship with the citizens? Joining us now to share his thoughts on all of that is Akintunde Akintayo, a police officer still in the service of the Metropolitan Police Department of Washington, D.C., in the United States. Good morning, Mr. Akintayo. Good to have you join us on the morning show today.
Good morning, sir. I'm happy to be here.
Good morning. Thank you indeed.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you're welcome. I see that you are a police officer and you're with the Metropolitan Police in Washington, D.C. in the United States. And of course, what that tells us is that, your views will be of interest to the Nigerian police, in one way or the other, to the Nigerian police in Nigeria, particularly at this time that everybody is talking security. What are your thoughts? And as a matter of fact, what would be your general assessment in terms of policing in Nigeria as a force towards countering insecurity in Nigeria? Everybody tends to talk about what is the army doing, what are the soldiers doing, where are they, how are they deployed? But then people tend to forget that police is possibly the primary responsibility situation to deal with insecurity within towns and villages and communities. What are your thoughts? What have you observed? And which area do you think that improvement will be needed?
Thank you, sir. I've been on this show before, and that was when I was brutally confronted by the Nigerian police. So that was when I started to think about what the problem is. How can we actually face this problem? How can we solve this problem? And how can we manage it? Nigerian police welfare is very poor, I will be honest. And then I think providing them a good welfare will be helpful in terms of security. Because me as a police officer in the U.S., I'm like a guardian. I'm the face of the people. I'm the first person the people see when they have problem. I'm the first person they call. They want me to rescue them. They want me to help them out. And I can't do that if I don't have good relationship with the community, which is thinking about, okay, if I actually put my life online, what is going to happen to my own family? What is going to happen to me even when I'm gone? So I think welfare of our police officer in Nigeria is very poor. And for me, I would say we should do more in providing more welfare for them so that security in Nigeria can actually improve.
All right. I mean, there are a lot of questions about welfare and security. I mean, I know that in the past few months, we've seen protests by retired police officers, demanding better welfare. But before I come to that, I'd like to talk about what's going to happen on Monday. That's tomorrow, October 20, which will mark 5 years anniversary of the NSAS protest against police brutality. Now, that 2020 protest revealed, deep mistrust between Nigerian youth and police. The young people at the end of the protest drafted about a 10-point demand on what needs to be done to rebuild trust. I know that you're familiar with those demands. I mean, SARS at the end was banned, but we still see, that sort of brutality the youths were protesting about. Now, what solutions can you recommend? And also, how does the Metropolitan Police Department maintain community trust and accountability? Not that there is no sort of brutality. We have seen some of the police brutality in the United States as well. I'd like for you to proffer some, solutions, since you're, in that department. What mechanisms exist in DC to handle, police misconduct and brutality, and complaints that, Nigeria could adopt?
So thank you. We already know what the problem is. For Metropolitan Police Department, once we know what the problem is, then we change our policy. And by changing our policy, that means we are giving training. So training is what I would say we can emphasize on. This is not a rocket science, and it's not going to happen in a day. It's going to take time. But we have to start by training our officers in how to deal with the community. When we already figure out what the problem is, then we have to go back to training. How do we train our officers at the police academy? How do we actually train them before they go out on the streets? I've seen, to our own training, when I'm in the police academy, even though we use gun, we have to actually put our gun back and go back to the classroom, and then go on the street without our gun. We are trained to actually talk to the community without even having a weapon on. So that's always our last resort. But I think in the police academy here, they actually have their guns around, have their gun like a baby. So I think we should emphasize more when we talk about the escalation in training academy here. So the first solution is actually going back to training. What is the problem? We already found out the problem, so we have to provide the solution by going back to the police academy and then start training our new officers. Then by training the new officers on how to deal with the community, then going with the experience, they will start training another new officer. Like I said, this is not going to take a day or two. It might take years, but we have to start by actually training our new officers in terms of de-escalation, how to talk to the community. When I was growing up, we usually see the posters in the station showing police is our friend, police is our friend. Police are not supposed to be a war front. We are seen as a guardian. So we should be a guardian to our community, like being friends with them, and then we should be the first one they talk to, instead of like seeing us as someone they run from. Like, look, police is coming, let's run. So we should be the guardian of our community. So I think we should go back to our training and see that, okay, this is what we are lacking, this is our problem, and then let's start training our officers on how to de-escalate.
All right, Akintunde.
Situation without using gun.
Okay, I think I caught you there. You are going to say Olopa is coming. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right, so I see that you still possibly speak, good Yoruba. Olopa is coming. But let me.
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's quite good. Okay, let me draw you back to your initial statement when you said that you've been here before and that you were attacked. I guess that you're referring to your visit in 2019 to Nigeria, when police officers profiled you for sporting braids. But of course, what you used here today is that you were attacked. So I just need you to clarify for the benefit of our viewers if the 2019 encounter is precisely what you are referring to. And of course, to now compare to your experience this time around. Have you seen any improvement? I see that you are not wearing any braids this time around. Do you think that things would have been different if you were wearing braids, or wearing camouflage? The things that our police officers here tend to frown at. Is it the same over there, wearing camouflage, wearing braids, even as a police officer, you know, young, good-looking police officer that you are? How is it over there compared to the things that you have experienced here, either in 2019 or this particular year?
Yes, I was referring to 2019, okay. Where I experienced that kind of bad situation, right? So compared to, and that's not the reason why I cut my hair anyways. I just decided to change my look again. You know, I used to be undercover, and then we used cornrows, and then some of our officers ask cornrow as well, even though if they are not undercover or not. I don't think your look should be your identity. I think because, funny enough, I went to, for an example, I went to a chemist to buy medications because I was sneezing and I had to attend a wedding. And then I was asking a woman to just help me out, like, what kind of medication can I use those? Because I have an event to attend. But the woman looked at me from head to toe and said, can I ask you a question? I said, yes, ma'am, you can. Say, you are a man. Why do you have your hair on? I look at the woman and I said, ma, you are a woman now. Why did you cut your hair? So I think the problem is our culture. It's not even the police alone. It's just the culture of Nigeria on how you see people. I have a bachelor's, I have a master's degree, I have a good professional job in the US, but that doesn't make me a bad person because I'm making my hair. I think people are just interpretation to your look sometimes. People that have tattoos, it's just our culture I would say in Nigeria, that the look makes it they make it look like, okay, this is a bad person. I think we should just start changing our culture of knowing the person before even judging the person. So it's not even about police alone. So that's not the reason why I cut my hair. I just decided to change my look again.
And I will tell you, you look dapper with that look. My son had dreads just like you, and I've been praying to God that one day he'll cut his hair just like you have done. I pray that one day will come. His dreads are this long. But anyways, let's come back to our topic here about policing. Now, how would you approach policing in the Northeast, where, you know, Boko Haram and ISWAP operate? Only recently there's been, you know, peacekeeping negotiations with terrorists operating in the north, particularly Katsina State under that Operation Safe Corridor. Now, you know, there's been this conversation about how the police has been dismantled and not being able to operate properly in that area. Now, do you think that the federal government should be negotiating with the terrorists? And do you believe that the police should be more involved in the security of the Northeast?
Yes, police is the first intel that can help, even if they will have to use the military. Police is the first intel personnel you can use, and for you to use the police as the first intel, they need to be well equipped. They need to be well taken care of. They need good welfare package. You have to increase their budget. So if you don't increase their budget, or they don't have enough to take care of themselves, they won't be able to do their job effectively. So I won't say police should not be involved. Of course, police should be involved because we are the first line in terms of law enforcement. Before you have like now go to using military. Before we use military in, like you can see in the United States, they deployed the National Guard in Washington, D.C., but we are still the first line personnel in law enforcement that patrol the area, arrest and traffic stop the military are just walking around guarding the people. So before you can actually bring in the unit, like military personnel, police force is still the first in line that can help provide good intel. And for them to provide good intel, they have to be well equipped, which is part of their welfare. And that's what I'm saying, like providing more money allocations for them. We have to care more about them. Like we have to put their budget and everything in everything we do, every plan, because police force is the first line of law enforcement.
I was asking, do you think that the federal government should be negotiating with terrorists at this point? I'm sure you have seen those stories. Only recently, we even saw they call them bandits in Katsina State, wielding AK-47s in the community. What do you make of that sort of a conversation?
I won't advise for federal government to be negotiating with terrorists, because federal government should care more about the life of our community, the life of the citizen of Nigeria. So negotiating with the terrorists, I won't say solve anything. Then they can always, like when you negotiate with the terrorists, that doesn't mean the terrorists will stop than to just come back and demand for more. So to my own experience, based on where I work, we don't negotiate with terrorists at all. All
right. So now let's return to the topic of welfare for police officers. Now, for months, retired police officers and their widows have staged several protests demanding better welfare. On top of their complaints to be removed from that contributory pension scheme. We've seen activist Omoyele Sowore, who has been in the forefront of that protest, even demanding better pay for police officers that are currently serving. If I may ask, what is the average police salary in DC relative to the cost of living versus, Nigeria? We know the cost now. And can you just share with us what your salary is, if you can?
So starting pay salary as of October 6th, 2025 for DC Metropolitan Police, starting pay salary is $70,000 per annum. So, and that was based on the economy. So the process is our union going to the council member and asking them for pay increase based on how the economy goes. So as we all see that since 2020, after COVID, every economy, like in most countries, has been crashing and cost of living has been increasing. So based on that, I think we've got pay increase since 2020, like I think 3 times. So the more they evaluate how the cost of living is, the more we get pay increase. So they're trying to match it based on how the economy goes and then how the cost of living increases. So we have a union. I don't think Nigerian police as a union member that just represent them go to the government and ask for demand that, okay, we need pay increase. But for we have a union that represent us, go to the government, go to our council member and request for pay increase. So we've had increase since 2020 based on the cost of living.
All right, Akintunde, I hope that you'll be ready for the sort of interest that young Nigerian police officers will have in the American system now that you have made a disclosure that the entry point salary for an average police officer in Washington, D.C. is $70,000 per annum. Here, the minimum wage is 70,000 naira monthly. And I know that people who have had this huge figure might show interest in this age of Japa in Nigeria. But talking seriously, are there still opportunities for young immigrants, whether they're in the security industry, security sector, or any other sector, who might be, either maybe they school abroad or they just want to emigrate to the United States? We know what is happening about illegal immigrants in the United States now, but then are there still opportunities for Nigerians who might genuinely, legally, want to explore opportunities in the United States? And then secondly, which I think is also very important that I would like to have your views about. A few weeks ago, we had a guest on the program who used to be a soldier in the Nigerian army. And one of the things that he recommended is the American system of allowing people to legally own arms. It's basically saying that, why can't Nigerians also have guns? That maybe that will go a long way in stemming the tide of insecurity that we have in Nigeria. What would be your thought regarding such a suggestion, given the fact that America today is also very much struggling with the idea of gun control? What are your thoughts?
So the number one question, which is, is there an opportunity? Yes, I think there's an opportunity for every young people to come abroad. But coming Jackpot, Jackpot, but when you say you want to Jackpot, do you have a goal? Do you have something you want to do? Before, because for me, I won lottery to the United States. So I won visa lottery. When I won lottery, I told myself what I want to do. I said I will be in uniform. I want to become a uniform officer when I get to the United States. And then I started as a correctional officer. I did that for 5 years. And then I told my colleagues that I would be a police officer. And then they were laughing at me, thinking, okay, you're in Nigeria, they might not take you, blah, blah. I said, okay. And I applied. And they did all my background check, and I was hired. And I've been there for 10 years now. So there's always an opportunity for young people when they are about to jackpot. But the thing is, do you know what you actually want to do when you jackpot, or you just want to jackpot? And secondly, the second question is the right to bear arms. Like I said in my conversation the last time, is even with police officer, I don't even think about my gun most of the time when I'm carrying it, because that's my last resort. I don't think we should make that legal for everyone to bear arms. And in the nearest future, if the government decides to allow everyone to bear arms, then we need to do a thorough background check. Are we actually ready for everyone to bear arms without a good system where we can actually do a background check on everyone? Because even in the United States, before you can actually buy a gun, they do background check on you to legally buy a gun. The guns on the street might be illegally, but for you to actually go to the store and buy a gun, you have to go through something called background check. So do we have a system in Nigeria that actually do background check on everyone? If that's yes, then I think we should be allowed to bear arms to protect ourselves. If the security is not, that's okay. But I would say we have not gotten to that point yet, that we don't have a solution without saying, okay, everyone to bear arms. We have a solution, which is taking care of our law enforcement officers, providing a good welfare package for them. I trust that if they have a good welfare, good pay, and like taking care of their family even when they are gone, they will put their life in line of duty to protect the citizen of this country. That's my own belief.
All right. Before we let you go, would like for you to share with our viewers, your background, especially in this policing career from Nigeria, how you, transitioned to the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington. Now, how long have you been serving? And if you were to advise the federal government on policing, what will be your 3 main priorities that you could advise at this point?
My background is I've been wanted to be in uniform so bad. When I was in Nigeria, I was trying to be a custom officer, and then I won lottery. I was lucky. Then when I got to the US, even my cousin was telling me to join nursing. I said, I know what I want. So I want to be in uniform. And then by then, they were asking me to be a citizen before I can be an officer. But I had to apply to be a correctional officer instead, and waited. When I became citizen 5 years later, I applied to be a police officer, and I was hired. And I loved it. I started with even creating programs like fitness program. I've moved around. I've done undercover. I've done recruiting. I'm like the face of the department in DC because I initiate programs. I'm part of the crisis intervention officer. I'm honor guard. I even joined the family support team. We are just 12 in the whole department, where we visit every officers that got injured or maybe lose their life. We go to their family and give our condolences. So I'm always trying to be part of a good thing. I don't complain. I don't want to be the part of the problem but the solution. So that has been me for years. And my own advice to the federal government is to please provide more welfare package to these officers, because they are the front line. They are the people we see on the streets. And I'm begging not just the federal government, but everyone in the community to please play their own part as well. Because people think federal government is the only one taking care of us in the US. No, that's not true. We have 2 NGOs that take care of families of law enforcement officers when they die, when they lose their life in the line of duty. Even when you have a loan, they clear the loan, they give you money, they give your family money when you are gone. They take care of your kids. So we have NGOs that take care of us as well. So the solution is not just on the federal government alone, but every one of us. We can all play our own part. Once the police force sees that the community cares about them, then I think it will help. They will actually care more about the community as well. So that can create more bond between police officer and the community.
All right, so it's all about welfare, and everybody should play their part. Thank you so much, Akintunde Akintayo, the good-looking police officer from Washington, D.C. It's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.